Well, what a treat. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the Salem Chamber Forum Speaker Series today. And this is a very special week for all of us as Americans as we reflect on the incredible work that our veterans have done. And today we're going to give you just a sprinkling of that, but certainly recognize this week as veterans, celebrating our veterans and thanking them. My favorite month of the calendar year, although I do love the sun and I love being out in the summer, but November is very special. It is the month of gratitude. And so our organization thanks all of you for being here. And a very unique thing is occurring right now. We have some great champion level members that support us and an incredible couple families, and it just really is special. I see Dr. Salam Noor here, and I want to thank a number of companies who do great things, and I'll do that privately with them, but it is also very special to have all of you joining on a very interesting topic that I know we're all paying attention to, and that is the education of our students. If I could, I'd like you to, if you would, take a look at our welcome video featuring our title sponsors.
Do the right thing is our first value, and it's the most core to what we are as a business and what we do. We believe in long-term relationships. Doing things the right way is the only way we can do them. We've been in the community for 115 years, so everything we do starts with that value of do the right thing. We're going to make sure we do right by the client every single time.
Excellence is found in its pursuit. It's about getting a little bit better every day, overcoming challenges, setting high standards. Excellence is a habit. It's not a finish line.
I love working with my clients and strategizing with them to help them with their employee benefit plans. But coming back to the office and working as a team with my coworkers and those account managers is integral to what I do.
If you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with the team. When you think about your business and your company and looking out into the future, you want to be partnered up with companies that are going to be there for you. Companies like Hagen Hamilton.
Hagen Hamilton is proud to sponsor the Forum Speaker Series, and we thank you for joining us. Enjoy the presentation.
Well, we appreciate the support of the John family and their terrific employees at Hagen Hamilton. Before I bring up our president, Ted Ferry, I'd just like to take a quick moment to introduce you to the newest team member on the Salem Chamber staff team. Right over here is a woman named Kelly Gosman, and Kelly is going to be taking on the work of the McLaren Leadership Foundation. That is currently being done with a great partnership with Ruben Garibay, and we are thrilled to have Kelly joining our team to take the reins in the next few months here, and we are counting on her to have great results. So please, if you would, help me welcome Kelly to the Salem Chamber team. Now, he is your president, introducing from State Farm Insurance, Mr. Ted Ferry.
It seemed like the applause was greater for Kelly, so just to put that on the record, and it deservedly so. I wanted to thank all of you for being here today and enjoying the forum and the presentation by the school district. Thank you for those of you that are new members as well as first-time attendees to this meeting. It's my custom, at least it has been the last 3 times, to invite somebody to the head of the table that is making a difference in not only the community but also the Chamber of Commerce. Today, my guest sits all the way down there. Sorry, she's sitting next to friendly people, though. I wanted to introduce her. She is Gabby Northrup. She is a financial advisor with Three Pines Wealth Advisors. Gabby is a graduate from North Salem High School. She holds a master's from Corban University. She was raised by her grandparents. She's married to a school teacher, so that's great. They have a son, and then she also is expecting a baby girl, hopefully soon. I wanted to acknowledge her because her dedication to the community, but also the Chamber of Commerce. She is a chamber ambassador. She's a leader in our emerging leaders group. She is also on the board of 2 nonprofits, and she coaches middle school soccer at Parrish and at Cascade. Gabby, you are a busy young lady, so thank you so much, and thank you for being here today. Oh, see, you got a fan club. I love it. Thank you again to our Forum Season Series sponsor, Hagen Hamilton Solutions, Insurance Solutions. Also, thank you to Salem Health and the Salem Health Foundation, who we'll hear from momentarily. Now, would you please join me in standing and welcoming our national anthem being performed today by Natalie Budke.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And there you go. Let's wrap the meeting. I mentioned to her that when I saw her profile that all 4 of my kids went to Leslie Middle School, and she corrected me and said, well, I'm a Crossler crocodile. So thank you so much, Natalie, for being here today. Thank you for Amplified Music Project for really helping her in learning how to sing so well. And thank you, Sarah Mutalini, for helping out with that as well. Appreciate all you do for the community. I now would like to invite Alvin Clausen to the stage to provide our Veterans Day welcoming message. In addition to serving in the Marion County Government Relations, Alvin is a former United States Marine. Today we will recognize and celebrate the United States Marine Corps 250th anniversary. Please join me in welcoming Alvin to the podium for a message as well as our prayer.
Good morning. What a beautiful crowd. It's almost afternoon. My name is Alvin Clausen, and as Ted said, I am the Government Relations Manager for Marion County, Oregon. I'm also the Board President of Courtney Place Veterans Housing. Many of you guys know me from my past life as one of the owners of Vagabond Brewing. So Tom asked me to open this luncheon for 2 reasons. One, because tomorrow's Veterans Day, and I'm a veteran. But more importantly, because today is the 250th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps. And I just so happen to be a Marine. Are there any other Marines in the house? I know there's at least one. Can you stand? And are there any veterans in the house other than Marines, the other branches? If you could stand. In the Marine Corps, we say oorah, so if I could get an oorah. Oh, no, it's not the Air Force's birthday, it's the Marine Corps birthday. Can I get an oorah? There we go, I'll take that. So one of the greatest parts about the United States of America is our freedom of religion. And many of us serve to protect that freedom of religion. So whether you're Christian or Jewish or Muslim or Buddhist or Hindu, you get to practice your religion in this country without persecution. So I am happy today to open with a prayer. And if you want to join me in worshiping whatever God you believe in, that's your God-given right, and we're here to protect it. Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together today in fellowship and purpose, community devoted to service, integrity, and for one another. As we gather this week to honor our nation's veterans, the men and women who have served in uniform of the United States and answered the call to serve with courage and sacrifice. We are especially mindful of the United States Marine Corps, celebrating 250 years of honor, courage, and commitment. Bless all the Marines and veterans, past and present and future, who have stood steadfast in defense of freedom. Lord, we ask your blessing over this meal, over each person and business represented here, and over the work we do to strengthen our community. May we lead with gratitude, humility, and service to others. In your name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvin, for serving our community and our country. Appreciate that. I'd like to introduce the head of the table today. Today, to my left, we have Chad Neal from Hagen Hamilton Insurance Solutions as our sponsor. Also, to my left is Jim Bauer. He serves as Chief Development Officer with Salem Health Foundation, and he's also recognized as one of our monthly sponsors, and he is a former chamber president. So thank you for being here. You can take over for me in the last moments of this thing. And then to my right, Andrea Castañeda, our superintendent, Salem-Keizer Public Schools, and then Nubia Green. She's the principal at Scott Elementary. They will be both presenting today keynote speech. And also, of course, Gabby on the far end. We already talked about her earlier. We have a few local officials and elected officials in the room today. I'd like to make an announcement of them. Cynthia Richardson, from Salem-Keizer School Board, Cynthia Richardson, Lisa Harnish, Karina Guzman-Ortiz, and Chrissy Hudson. And then we have a few elected officials as well. Marion County Commissioner Kevin Cameron, Salem Mayor Julie Hoy, City Councilor Linda Nishioka, Sarita Cross from the Keizer City Council, and then Chemeketa Board members Diane Watson and Jackie Frankie. So thank you all for being here today. Appreciate that. I'd also like for you to look around the room and see if you see anybody with a Navy logoed chamber jacket. These are our Salem Chamber ambassadors. If you guys could stand and wave to the crowd, we'd really appreciate it, because you'll notice they always provide such great hospitality to our group. Also in the room, if we have any past presidents that could stand. There we go, just on cue. Please thank you them as well. Past presidents. And then lastly, for the thank yous, we have a volunteer board. If you're a current board of directors with the Salem Chamber of Commerce, could you also stand, please? Now, I'd like to wish Tom Hofford, if you could come back up to the podium and introduce our Spirit of Salem Award.
Today, we are honored to recognize an organization taking on the mental health and suicide prevention efforts for our United States military veterans. Stay Alive Veterans is an occupational therapy organization based here in Salem-Keizer. Through practical engagement, follow-through, recreation, and innovative programming, they provide a sense of purpose and camaraderie to the brave men and women who have served our country. Their work supports 6 unique organizations taking on the vital missional work to reduce and eliminate suicide amongst the men and women who served our country, regardless of branch or era served. The Salem Chamber recognizes the selfless acts of military service and affirms a community's duties to be supportive of veterans and their pursuit of happiness and independence. This week, Stay Alive Veterans will be hosting their 5th annual fundraising event. Join me in welcoming Stay Alive Veterans founder, board member, and United States Air Force veteran, Angela Plowhead, to the stage to receive our Spirit of Salem Award.
Wow, I had no idea. They got me here under a pretense. I'm often here anyway, but I didn't get to. Anyway, so thank you. I so appreciate this. So Stay Alive Vets has been an organization of veterans, for veterans, because we care about what happens to the lives of veterans in this nation. It's really unfathomable that we have 22 veterans a day that die by suicide. And that's really an undercount. We really think that that number is closer to 44 a day across our nation. So, you know, the efforts that we've made really have just been practical because, you know, we love our brothers and sisters in arms and want to make sure that they're around another day to continue to serve our community, to be there with and for their families, and just so that they're recognized for what they do every day to preserve this nation. So thank you. We very much appreciate it, and we hope we'll see you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. right here in this room.
Sometimes it's hard to get our award winners to stuff because we like secrets once in a while and surprising people. So, Angela, thank you for your great work. Our monthly sponsor today is Salem Health and the Salem Health Foundation. The Salem Health Foundation was established in 1968 by a group of Salem citizens interested in advancing healthcare through donations. They support Salem Health hospitals and clinics' missional work to provide extraordinary local health care to the people of the Mid-Willamette Valley. The Foundation's 15 volunteer directors help raise funds and manage the resources of the Foundation while distributing funds according to the wishes of those who have given. They serve as a catalyst for ideas, partnerships, and programs that improve community health right here in our neighborhood. Today, I get to welcome a very special gentleman who served as president of this organization, as you have heard. Jim Bauer is the Chief Development Officer with the Salem Health Foundation, and Salem Health, as you know, believes deeply that health issues are not only simply medical and body, but community-wide, and so they stand proud in sponsoring today's program because it is in alignment with their missional work. Ladies and gentlemen, past President Jim Bauer. Jim, thank you.
On behalf of Salem Health and the Salem Health Foundations, thank you for coming today, and I wish you now a good afternoon. We've made it into the afternoon hours. This is an important community conversation. As a regional healthcare system, we see every day how health in our communities and strength in our communities begin long before anyone walks into a hospital or one of our clinics. Important attributes of strength, resiliency, and health begin in our schools. Strong reading and math are a foundation of opportunity. And when a child reads confidently by 3rd grade and can do math by 8th, their success echoes forward into higher graduation rates, better jobs, stronger families, stronger communities. These things are the building blocks of a healthy economy and a thriving region, and they are the building blocks of good health. Education is one of the most powerful social determinants of health. The data is very clear. Communities with higher educational achievement enjoy lower healthcare costs, longer life expectancies, and greater economic stability. Simply put, when our schools succeed, our entire community succeeds. Our local school district, under the leadership of Superintendent Castañeda, is responding to new challenges, and their staff are responding with them. Our local school district, our team of teachers, all staff have launched a new and focused effort to strengthen literacy and math learning using proven strategies, new partnerships, and with some demonstrated accountability that we all are hopeful for and need. Their intent is to make real improvements. This is not work that just schools have to do. They can't do it alone. They can't do it without us. That's why we brought this today for this discussion, and we hope that you'll continue to be engaged. Read, think, learn, respond. We need that because this is our future. Education of our students is the key to economic vitality for the people that are receiving the education, for the families that surround us, and for all of us. Today, we will learn from these local experts, and they are dedicated to solving these problems through the classroom. But hopefully, you'll learn enough, you'll hear enough, you'll talk to enough people that you'll start to wonder, well, what could I do? And how could I do more? Because that's what we really need to do in this case. Things are different. It is a different era. We're past the COVID era, and we're into whatever era we want it to be. And it's up to us to work on that. So, I have some housekeeping before I introduce our speakers. So on your table are a couple of handouts, so you know that they're there. There's one that's an overview handout. There's another one that has some questions that are representative of the questions that are asked in the reading and math competency evaluations. Also, on your table is this QR code. Everybody see it? Pretty sure you got it? There it is again. One of the great things about what we're going to do today is we're going to have an electronic way for you to give feedback throughout the event, throughout the speaking, and give us some questions along the way so that if we have time at the end that we can answer some of these questions. So one of the things we have to do is we need to establish a baseline. So if everyone could take out their phone and dial in this QR code. Am I doing this right? So far, so good? All right. Here we go. You can take the form off your, there you go. And there will be 3 questions there. And these are what we call baseline questions. And there will be times along the way where you'll be asked to evaluate the material that's been given to you and your understanding of that. So, are we all dialed in? Everybody feeling pretty good? A little head nodding? Very good. All right, all the way in the back, I see some head nodding there as well. It is my pleasure to introduce our 2 speakers tonight. The first is, today, Nubia Green, who serves as the principal at Scott Elementary in Salem with over 20 years of experience in public education. Her journey has been shaped by diverse roles, including bilingual teacher, instructional coach, and for the past 5 years, the proud principal of her school. She is very proud to lead the efforts of her school. Also, Andrea Castañeda, Oregon's 2nd largest school district with approximately 39,000 students where she leads. 39,000 students under her work. Andrea's educational leadership experience of over 20 years includes state and school district, cabinet level, administrative, and leadership positions. She's held many positions, so she understands deep inside the district how it works. Presently, she's participating in national programs whose intent are to inspire educational leaders, but she's spending her time at home right now with lots of things to work on. Andrea has a graduate from Brown University, which I didn't know until today, and with a bachelor's degree and a master's from the Harvard Education School. She's married and has 2 adult daughters. So if you would, I'd appreciate your applause as we welcome Andrea to the podium. Or no, Nubia to the podium.
Do you want want me to keep this? Hi. As Jim introduced me, my name is Nubia Green, and I'm the principal at Scott Elementary. And I am super excited to be here and talk to you about, I'm going to try to read a little bit and then also be able to address you, okay? This is actually my second year at Scott Elementary, but my 5th year as school principal. Previous to that, I was at Bush Elementary here downtown for 3 years. I actually held a business degree from San Diego State University in business management before I was recruited to be a bilingual teacher in Salinas, California. They were looking for bilingual teachers, and I had just received my degree from San Diego and was back in my hometown, and I said, okay, I'll go down there and try, and here I am now. It was then when I started teaching in Salinas that I fell in love with teaching, and then I knew that I wanted to lead in the best way possible in any facet that I could. It wasn't going to be as a HR director in San Jose, California, which was my dream, and now I am here as Scott Elementary principal, which is equally as exciting, I am sure. Okay, I am honored to speak with you today about the work that I get to be part of and how it impacts our youngest learners. Today I'm going to provide you with my answers to 3 questions that I believe have led me in the work to improve school results at Scott Elementary. The first one, well, what does it take to lead and get improved results? At Scott, we know that success is never the product of one person. It is the outcome of a collective and a commitment from everybody so that every student can grow to their full potential and then focus on future goals. It's a team effort completely. So our theme this year is teamwork. Every student, every single thing that we're doing this year is based on team. And so students know that you are part of, your first team is your classroom, right? Everything we do is based on collaboration, but also competition, because I'm a really competitive person, and I really like for us to always focus on, have like that goal of where are we going, and competition to even just win an extra recess is super fun for elementary school students. The first thing I want to say is that it takes people. And so we have to, we're very fortunate at Scott that we have some amazing people that we work with. But I do believe that it takes every one of them to believe that students are capable of doing the work. Their mindset matters a lot. So I know that in not just my elementary school, but every other elementary school, when you have teachers that have a great mindset, you can do anything with that because they believe that the kids can do it. So especially when we have high expectations, we have to make sure that we have high expectations for our students because they will rise to that expectation. Of course, it is grounded in like love and respect and doing the work, but the goal really is to expect them to reach this level. And if they know us, students know us more than we know ourselves, they will rise above to that expectation. The second thing is we need a really strong curriculum when we're teaching. I am excited we have a new adoption coming to elementary schools, and I'm excited for that curriculum because it will bring like teachers what they need to continue to teach at grade level curriculum, but also it'll create for students and teachers feel more engaged in new grade level text. Oftentimes, if we have been teaching with the same curriculum for 8 years or so, we're teaching say the same grade level, then we're teaching the same text all the time, and so it might teachers might not be as excited. And so I'm really excited for the new curriculum having like new text that they can get excited about. And then it's really important for us to be able to train those teachers so that they know what to do with the curriculum. And then third, for that question, improved results depend on positive relationships with adults. So students thrive when they feel like they are seen and they are valued and then they are understood. So at Scott, we're committed to building like that school community where every single one of those students feels that way. An example is for attendance, we pair a staff member with a student who has a significantly lower attendance to incentivize them to come, and so they build that relationship with that attendance mentor, and that has proved to be successful at our school. And even adults are like, my student graduated from that attendance pairing and mentor, and so they have that relationship for life. The second thing, what do I do as a leader to make things possible? Okay, so my first responsibility as a leader is to lead by example. That means that I model a growth mindset. I model it in the work that I do. I model it in the hallway when I'm talking to a staff member. I'm modeling it when I'm talking to students. And so it's important that I continue to develop my skills so that I can better help the teachers that I'm trying to lead, as well as the students that I'm trying to help, and the parent and community that I'm trying to help understand that we need to have our goals to be set clear, and work towards the same common thing. So I know that I cannot lead effectively if I don't have a clear destination. So my role is to keep things aligned and focused. And I have been trying to do that at Scott for the past year and a half. I also have to understand my staff. Who am I working with? So when I first started I did the same thing that I at Bush Elementary, and then when I was asked to serve at Scott, well, who do I have? What are my staff's strengths? What is a weakness that I really need to work on? And then what are the needs of my community? I had to assess that, and by that I had to step back and say, okay, I have a great group of people here with great intentions. What am I going to do, and how am I going to get to know them so that I can lead them that way and take them to higher and really improvement? And then I want to say culture. Culture is one of the most important things, and the way I say it is that we have to I made Scott a place where instruction is our guide for making improvements. Everything always goes back to instruction. And then taking ownership of what causes learning daily, because all staff help students get there in the way that they talk to them and in the way that they take ownership of the learning, but also the relationships. And then lastly, the third question, what do I need from the district or the community to help? From our families, we need the biggest difference is students coming to school every day and on time. I often just, parents, thank you for bringing them. You're doing a great job. Thank you for letting them sleep, getting them to sleep on time. So we thank the families for bringing them. And then from the district, just consistency and goals and clarity. And this year, with our Climbing Together initiatives, we are doing that. And I feel it. I feel the support of the district. The resources, we need curriculum, which we are receiving a new curriculum, time and support. And then one thing that is very important is that great teaching from any teacher in our school district, it takes planning, preparation, and collaboration. That collaboration between teachers is everything. I had a wonderful experience in this district as collaborating on a professional learning community with a great team that I know made me a better teacher and a better leader. And so a meaningful improvement requires for teachers to learn, reflect, and practice, and they do that there. And so when the district provides us these tools, we can focus on doing the best, which is teaching and inspiring our students. And now, our superintendent.
One should always start with principals for many reasons. One, they're the best speakers, but also they are the people who are doing the work. There is no such thing as a school district. There are only schools led by amazing people like Nubia. So I am going to talk a little bit about what this looks like from a district perspective. And to do that, I'm going to make a quick lap around what it means to run a school district, because we are going to spend virtually all of our time talking about teaching and learning. But first, Real estate holder. So we have 6.5 million square feet of occupied real estate. We have 600 acres and 70 campuses. Food services, we serve 5 million meals a year in 70 commercial kitchens. Budget management, we are a $1.2 billion organization. And to give you a frame of reference, last year we closed with less than 0.5% error between our Q1 forecast and closeout. Transportation, we provide transportation to 4 million rides a year. We have 600 vehicles in our fleet. We are the largest transportation provider, the largest meal server in the area. Employer, we have 5,600 employees. We run payroll for 8,000 employees over the course of a year, and we onboard 1,500 employees every year. And then safety, we have one of the most comprehensive threat protection systems in the area. We have 6,000 camera lenses that we can monitor at any time. This year, we will scan 2 million people before they enter our middle and high schools. And them cell phones are pouched, which is part of safety too. And a fun fact on that, I will tell you, you know what has a resurgence in high schools these days? Walkie-talkies and Discmen. So, you know, there's just things you didn't put on your bingo card, and there's one of them. In fact, I heard a story about a student who was listening to Green Day on a Discman, and the principal said, "I'm really surprised you're listening to Green Day," and she said, "The thrift stores are out of CDs." So anyway, those are all the things that we do, and that is actually not our core work. Our core work is teaching and learning. And so to talk about our core work, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have accomplished in 2 years. So in the last 2 years, I have nothing but pride, gratitude, and respect for the 5,600 staff who make this story possible. For the first time since the pandemic, we are increasing the percentage of students proficient at 3rd grade, and we're decreasing the number of our lowest level readers at 3rd grade. English language arts and math, all increasing. And actually, it's not just 8th grade. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, English and math increasing for the first time since the pandemic. Elementary student attendance is improving, graduation rate, and 9th grade on track. This is the story of a school district that is turning a trajectory. And think of the amount of work and culture change, commitment, skill, and dedication it takes to go from this to that first curve upwards. That is the work of our team. That is the work of the Scott team and Nubia, and so many people on our team. And what we're going to spend time on today is that, yes, it's the right direction. Yes, it's the right work, and it is not nearly enough. We have a lot of work to do. So this takes us to our second rating. So quick pro tip, some of you did your baseline rating and then got very enthusiastic and just did all of the future ratings too. Thank you for that. But if you didn't, now is time. I'm going to give you about 15 seconds or so to give us our second rating. You should just be able to get right back into that browser. All right. As you guys finish that up, I'm going to talk about 2 academic data stories for the district. There are many stories that we could tell. We could tell you about a sense of belonging. We could tell you about safety. But today we are going to talk about English language arts and math, and we are going to talk about 3rd grade and 8th grade. So let's take a look at 3rd grade reading. This is a story of not just a district, but also a state. And this is a story that all of us should be concerned about. So let's take a quick look at this graph, because you're going to see another version of it in a minute. So green line is Oregon's results. And you can see that our high point as a state since 2018 was 46% of 3rd graders reading at grade level on the state assessment, less than half. So that's the high point as the state. Oregon has had a lot of work to do for a long time. And then you can see another very clear phenomenon, which is that red line. Salem-Keizer, we are consistently a parallel line below it, and not just a little below, significantly below, like ballpark half the rate of the rest of the state. We have had a lot of work to do for a long time. These are numbers that can be changed. These are not numbers any of us should feel satisfied with. And these are definitely not numbers that anyone should be explaining away. There are explanations, but none of them are excuses. We have a tremendous amount of work to do. Let's look closer. So back in 2018, we were about 11 percentage points at proficiency below the rest of the state. And then you can see that drop, that gray band is the pandemic. And I want you to notice that we dropped further. We're now below where we were before. And that is not an uncommon story in the country, but that is not an acceptable outcome, and it is actually not the only outcome. There are places all throughout the country who have reversed this trend post-pandemic. Oregon just doesn't happen to be one of them. Salem-Keizer soon will be one of them. You can see this. There is something here to be cautiously optimistic about. So this is the statewide increase in third grade reading proficiency. For the first time, the whole state finally started to move back up again. 1.3 percentage point increase. It is not exactly something to write home about. But it's a reversal. The physics of this tell us that a reversal is the hardest move. And Salem-Keizer is increasing at a pace it's faster than the rest of the state. We're going to talk about the pace of increase significantly in a minute. So we are going to take just a minute. At your table, there is a handout that looks like this. It says Oregon Statewide Assessment System. It's got a lot of writing on one side and then a few question blocks on the other. This is a very typical third grade released item. Not extraordinary in any way. And I want to give you guys just about 30 seconds to just skim it. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit of what we see in it. So this is what it means to be a third grader in Oregon sitting down to take a state assessment. And a few things that I think are just worth pulling out here. First, third grade reading doesn't just mean, can I decode a simple text? It means, can I do lots of other things? Can I understand the author's point of view? Can I summarize a main point? Am I able to read nonfiction text as well as fiction text? Am I able to answer questions with multiple parts? These are the standards that our kids deserve, and this is what it means year over year to be successful. When Nubia said we have to be putting this kind of content in front of our kids every day and believing they can do it, this is what she means. I'll tell you a story. I walked into a third grade classroom last year, and they were working on writing. It was a sample test item, and students, I walked in, every third grader in the room, writing. And then when they finished, the teacher looked at me and she said, "Oh, class, our superintendent is here. She's the one that's making us do these test questions. Do we like this test? Do we like it, students?" What did they say? No. But do you know what students were doing? They were writing. It's okay that we don't like it now because we have to know how to write. It's okay to be struggling right now because we need to be able to do these things. And the only way our kids can do it is if we put it in front of them, we support them, and we believe in it. If we start watering this down, we will continue on that same depressing track. All right, let's look at 8th grade math. All right, now you know how to read the graph. Unfortunately, it's easy to read twice because it tells more or less the same story. Once again, Oregon should be worried. Oregon should be worried. The proficiency rates for 8th graders in Oregon in math is even lower. These are solvable problems. Places all throughout the country have solved them. Districts have solved them. There are turnaround stories everywhere. Oregon doesn't have them yet. But Salem-Keizer is on the way. Here, it's kind of similar thing. You'll see there was about a 4 percentage point difference before the pandemic. After the pandemic, that gap grew, 6%. But I'm going to go back to something I told you earlier. This year, in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, Salem-Keizer students improve math proficiency. We are on the way, and it's partially because of stories that are like the ones that Nubia told. Our middle school students have new curriculum, and it is challenging. I was in a classroom, and they were graphing an equation, and I asked the student to tell me the story of the equation. The equation was a parabola, kind of looked like that. And he said, well, here I am, I'm riding my bike, and I'm going faster and faster and faster. But then I look over, and I see a corpse, and so I brake. And I was like, wow, that's very specific. But it was a parabola. He knew the linear equation he was graphing. I just didn't expect it to involve the sighting of a corpse. This is what it means for them to be great and engaged and know the content. And they will do that when we give them a chance, because we do not waver in our expectations. Here you can see Salem-Keizer, our rate of increase about matches the state. We are the second largest district, so bear in mind that as Salem-Keizer, Beaverton, and Portland goes, so goes the state. We have an outsized influence on these results. Okay, same thing. You guys, if you flip that paper over, you'll see 8th grade math. And I'm just going to, again, give you about 15, 20 seconds just to look at that released item, just to get a sense of what proficiency looks like at 8th grade. All right, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about what we see here. First of all, our 8th graders need to be getting ready for Algebra 1. That means that by the time they leave 8th grade, they really need to know how to interact with multiple forms of information. They need to know how to interact with variables, and they need to be able to think about how to apply algebraic reasoning when they confront a problem. The first question on here, the little one with just the 4 options, this actually is a very straightforward one. You either know this mathematical concept or you don't, but the second one is more complex. In the second one, you have to know what to do with a lot of different types of information. You have to know which of those pieces of information matter. You have to understand the difference between units and rate of change. And you have to be able to apply them simultaneously. Students that can do this are ready for high school math. Students who are ready for high school math are ready for post-secondary. This is the virtuous cycle we're triggering. And it's going to take time. So let me talk with you about time. And I'm so disappointed that Bill Rickey is not here, because this entire example is built around mulch. So I want you to know that in my family, there are seasons, just like in your family, but in our family, spring is not known as spring. It's known as Mom's mulch season, because I am not a parent who blows in the bark dust. I am the parent who brings in the giant pile of mulch and then asks the children to move it. And so you can see one of my 2 children, but appropriately kind of dour in posture, because she knows that there is a giant project in front of her. What this child, mine, will inevitably do is turn one direction, take like 3 shovelfuls full of mulch, and then turn the smallest possible distance and pour it into the bed. And then she will come in and she will tell me that she just worked so hard. But the project is not to move this mulch that's closest to you into the bed corner that's closest to you. That is not the project. The project is to move everything. And that is also, by extension, what we're talking about when we are talking about results in Salem-Keizer. There we started off with the you can move together, you can move alone, and you can move fast, or you can go far together. We have to go far together, and what I am uninterested in is moving these 200 kids, the ones who are closest to the line of proficiency, just jumping them over the bar. I was once talking to a superintendent who said, "You do not want to be a superintendent, you want to be the superintendent." And what he meant is anyone can be a superintendent. You show up, you do a few things, you polish a few things, you make things look shiny, and then you look for the next role. I'm not interested in the headline that this produces, because that is not real change for our community. Just like I want my kids to move all of the mulch, our job is to move all of the children over that line. I want all 3,000, not 200. All 3,000 need to move to the right. And so when I say we are doing it, that is what I mean. I am not mostly proud that we increased third grade reading proficiency. I'm mostly proud that we reduced the number of kids at the lowest level, because that is the hardest work. The hardest work of all. There are probably only, I would say, less than 10 people in this room who know how to teach a child to read. A lot of us think we do because we helped our children learn to read, but what we did was read to them. What we did was help them learn about words. Teachers taught our children to read. Teachers like Nubia taught our children to read. We played a role, but they have the skill. And it's them, our teachers, that are going to move 3,000 kids and not just 200. Okay. Third rating. You'll have one more after this one, so I'm going to give you just a second for that. Okay, let's talk about what's next. To talk about what's next, we are going to talk about what we have been doing for the last 2 years. And I'm going to go fast here because I want to leave time for questions and answers. First of all, this room is full of business owners. Raise your hand if there is some part of the work you do that actually needs to be done in roughly similar ways, no matter how many people do it. Yeah. There is something about delivering work that does require a standard and a certain amount of quality control. Great curriculum is part of how we do that in schools. We have 1,000 classrooms. We have about 630 elementary classrooms, so we'll just whittle down the math and say we have about 100 classrooms for every elementary grade level. It does not work to have 100 different approaches to instruction in every one of those classrooms. It does not work when our kids move schools and everywhere they go, they experience something different. They deserve the best possible curriculum with teachers who have been given the time to internalize it and train it and deliver it. And they deserve that for their entire experience. That's the work we've started. The expectation around the use of high-quality curriculum did not exist in Salem-Keizer for many years. We have content areas that has not had core curriculum for decades. And in a few years, that will no longer be true. Grade level instruction, every day, every classroom, for every student. They cannot get less, they do not deserve less. We will not change these trajectories if they get less. Accountability at absolutely every level. Absolutely every level. My meeting immediately before this one was our entire 60-person district leadership team reporting on every measurable quarterly benchmark that is reflected in the plan in front of you. Every single one. We do it publicly. If we are on track, we say, we are off track, I am admitting it, here's why, here's what I'm doing about it. Our principals present to panels. I think I'm the only superintendent in Oregon that asked that the majority of my evaluation be our student outcomes, because it doesn't matter if you like me or you don't like me. Only one thing matters. Are our kids learning? And there are simple answers to that. Are they getting better at third grade reading? Are they coming to school? Is graduation rate improving? If all of those things and others are true, our system is headed in the right direction, and I am doing my job. If they are not, I am not. One focused plan. The board has set an exceptional example. And if you get a chance, I encourage you to read their op-ed in the Oregonian from yesterday, where they do it yet again, not just for Salem-Keizer, but for the full state. They are saying one thing to us over and over. 5 goals. They are what matters. Make it happen. Our kids deserve it. We are not distracted by a million other things. The plans that you have in front of you, if you look at them, it's real thin. And it's not because we can't afford the color ink, although we can't afford the color ink. It's because there's not much to say. We're gonna do a few things well. The fundamentals matter. We're not gonna be distracted by all the other things. And then data, creating a culture of data everywhere. Our entire system in Oregon needs to find greater comfort with the idea that test results actually do tell a version of success. They don't tell one with an asterisk. They don't tell one that we say, but then we explain away. They matter. They matter. And that transition is awkward right now because it's scary to look at those numbers and say they matter at the same time. Next, still with the curriculum. I told you I was going to be consistent. Still with the curriculum. We are going to do the largest curriculum implementation that a school district can do next year. Elementary reading. I'm going to make a prediction right now. You in this room will start to hear, as budget pressures come, people will say, pause the curriculum, delay the curriculum, don't spend the $12 to $15 million on the curriculum. And here is my answer ahead of time. Our kids must have it. They deserve it. If we want to move forward, we cannot continue delaying or deflecting the things that actually make change. Significant increases in our professional development for teachers. So for example, if anyone here has an elementary student, you know that in January, we've announced 3 days. We'll be training, I think it's like 1,500 people simultaneously. Every pre-K through 3rd grade teacher and instructional assistant, 3 days of training in the science of reading. Because you know what? Learning to read does not come naturally. You have to be taught it by people who understand the cognitive and neurological dimensions of it. Accountability, just still, we just have to keep on with this work. Now, with goals, I'm going to address this very quickly because in this very room, I think, during the school board member forum, there was a lot of applause for the idea that Salem-Keizer's goals are too low. And moving forward, those goals are too low, which is why we will be updating them this year. But I'm going to tell you why they were low to begin with. They were incremental because we did not have the infrastructure, and I knew that. We did not have teachers with the training they needed. We did not have an assessment plan that told us how kids were doing every 6 weeks, not once a year. We did not have the curriculum, and we did not have a culture around accountability. 2 years building that. We are on our way, and it is hard and good work. But I'll go back to what I said before. It takes time. It takes time to build it right, and it takes time to build it well. So in our new goals, you'll see significant increases. I want to see 3 to 5 percentage points at proficiency per year, every year, 4 years. And I don't want to see 10 points. I don't. I'm going to tell you, 10 points tells me that we weren't doing the right work, we were doing the easier work. 3 to 5 per year, 4 years is how a system transforms itself. And then finally, obviously staying super focused on the plan, and then data and just being accountable to each other over and over again. Every quarter, every week, every month. We just stick with it. Because as many of us know from various parts of our lives, there is magic in the fundamentals. And if you abandon the fundamentals for something that is more exciting, I will predict with almost certainty what will happen. You won't achieve the goals you sought because the magic is in the fundamentals. Okay, this is your final evaluation of us. And this one, at the end of this one, there's actually a second question where you can start pushing through some questions that I will just working my way through real time. So we're gonna give you a chance to do this rating, push through a couple of questions, and I think Jim will kick us off with question and answer.
And I believe if we don't get to the questions, it's just important that they understand what they are. So this is a good opportunity to give everyone some feedback. So to get us started, I'm going to kind of start with a question that it's maybe a softball question, maybe not, but what are some misconceptions, things in the community that you keep hearing about that are true or not true, but that would help inform this audience as a group of leaders who are going to go out and see other people in the community and maybe put some rumors to rest if you could? Because I think there's a lot of stuff going around, and this would be a good chance for you to answer to that.
Yeah, misconceptions. All right, well, one misconception, which I am eager to put to bed here, and there are many cameras, which makes this a conclusive way to do it. Raise your hand if you feel that Salem-Keizer is likely to be running a new local option levy tax. Yeah, we're not. I'm going to tell you right now, we're not. And I want to tell you why. Do we need the money? Yes, read the newspaper. We need the money. But here's what I believe about leading a school system through change. You ask for money, you ask for people's hard-earned cash when you have started to earn it. And we have more work to do. We will come to you for support at some point. But we're not doing it right now. Right now, we have our heads down doing the work that you need us to be doing. We, at the end of this year, in the 3 years that I will have been here, by the end of this year, we will cut $100 million from our budget. I'm going to suggest that that might be some of the most draconian cuts that any public institution in Marion and Polk County has experienced. $100 million. And we're going to keep doing that as much as we can, as well as we can. We are going to get focused and lean, and we are going to keep our money in classrooms. And there may be a point in the future where we need help, but we are not there yet. Second misconception is that there is not teaching and learning going on in our classrooms. I am in our classrooms all the time. If you walk into an elementary classroom, do you know what you'll see? You'll see kids learning to read. That's what you'll see. If you walk into a high school classroom, do you know what you'll see? You'll see kids doing chemistry. You'll see kids doing comparative literature. This is what is happening in our classrooms. And I think that there is an unfortunate and prevailing sense that those things are not happening, that they've been subsumed into some other more kind of political or decorative work. Not true. I invite you in. I invite you in. Our staff are doing amazing work with kids every day. Okay.
Superintendent
Yes.
Castañeda.
Yes.
So first question from our leadership group. You had an announcement on Wednesday regarding reductions. What is the takeaway you want the business community to be aware of?
Since I've gone long, I guess this may be my last question, so I'm going to make it good. So first, we announced a $25 million reduction. I'm going to tell you what this is. It is a preemptive reduction because we're actually fine this year. And in theory, we'll be fine next year. But I am looking at the 5-year forecast, and I cannot look away. I'm telling you, I believe it is irresponsible institutional leadership to look at a 5-year forecast and think that things are suddenly going to become rosy. Our job right now is to protect our stability, and that means protecting our reserves. We are not going to burn those reserves now because I think we're going to need them in 2 or 3 or 4 years. And we need our schools to be focused on teaching and learning. They cannot go on this crisis-addled roller coaster. I would rather be lean and stable than profligate and then falling. So lean and stable. Second thing is that our board has been very clear about something. Well, two things really. First, that we are not going to cut the instructional year for students to balance our budget. I'm going to go back to what we said before. If we want to stay 46th, we can do that. Fewer instructional days will help us stay at the bottom of the national ranking. But if we want to climb as a state, and because we will climb as a community, our kids need to be in school. So there's got to be other ways. And then the third thing is that we have introduced a conversation that is very awkward publicly. But I believe sometimes you have to say the awkward things because inside of awkwardness is truth. And the truth is that we're going to have to be in partnership with our unions to take a hard look at the pace that our salary and benefits are increasing and ask ourselves and ask them, what are we going to do about this unbelievably simple math? Because soon it will be the case that we can lay people off or we can reevaluate the pace of growth. But we can't escape it. We're 95% budgeted to people. And so when I say we started that conversation, I mean that Salem-Keizer is the only district in the state that has been willing to say that sentence out loud because it is scary to say. Nobody wants to confront that. But if we're going to pretend like the biggest dial on our expense profile is invisible or isn't turnable, then that means we're going to be cutting things that we wished we weren't. So while I'm very curious about the questions we've gotten in, I think I have to pause because we are out of time. Oh, and here we have, I'm sorry, Tom, were you going to say something?
Can we do two, Tom?
Well, I have one that we have also need to get quickly addressed. I thank you for bringing up labor. Our organization wishes to pose, and it is a very clear, transparent, understand the intentions behind this question. We are largely talking about students. Attendance drives positive results. How is the district attendance of teachers, and what is the game plan to address the situation of teachers being in attendance when being tasked with the missional work of educating these students?
Yep. So I'm gonna open and close with the same sentence. We have an unbelievably dedicated team. Both our teachers and our support staff, our leaders, unbelievably dedicated. I drive by South Salem High School, well, at least twice a day on my commute. And if I leave for the office before, say, by 6:30, we have staff in the parking lot. And if I come home at 10 p.m., we have staff in the parking lot. Our team works hard. And I will say that there is a series of legal protections that allow leave taking at levels that I have never seen anywhere else. The leave taking, I'm not talking about incidental absences. I'm saying that we are now in a situation in a state where there are many, many ways to take leave. And when we take leave, and I am not saying that some of that isn't legitimate, I believe most of it is, but this is true. When we take leave, the work is being done by someone who isn't on leave. And that makes the work even harder. There are a few places where Oregon, in our attempts to do all the right things for all the right people, has lost the plot on the fact that some of those things make life harder for others as well. And for our staff who are in attendance, virtually 100% of the time, they will tell you there are days where that is really hard. Okay. Okay, that was Tom's wrap-up note. Anyway, I'm seeing this obviously for the first time with you guys. This is the four results, and I'm happy to have had time with you because you deserve to know what's happening in our schools. You deserve to know the vision. You deserve to know the importance of the work and the complexity of the work. We are changing the trajectory. I'm no longer telling you we will, I am telling you we are. And we need your help, everyone's help, in staying focused. never taking our eyes off the prize. Our staff want to do that. Our kids know they can do it. This is a tremendous opportunity for Salem-Keizer. And frankly, it's a tremendous responsibility for the state. All right, so with that, I believe I'm going to hand it over back to Ted. Is that right?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nubia and Andrea. I really appreciate your presentation today. And I must say a couple of things. One is Tim Jennings personally made this, so you have to stick around to the end to see who won the flower arrangement. So thank you for Roth's Fresh Markets for donating that again. The other thing I will say is as your kids graduate from high school, blowing in your bark by Bark Boys is not a bad idea. Last year was our first time ever to do that with 3 units, and I will tell you, my chiropractor was very happy about that. The other thing, as I would say, is I talk a lot about mentors and mentoring and being pillars in the community. I believe business owners and business community leaders are the pillars of this community. I also have to address, Gabby brought up something as she mentioned to me. She has her principal in the audience today, and it is a legendary Cynthia Richardson. And so thank you so much for being here. She was, I don't think, nervous about anything other than you being in the crowd today. So that mentorship is amazing. And for a son of a school teacher, my mom was a school teacher at Liberty Elementary and then Sumter. She opened Sumter for 27 years. That mentorship role that our school teachers provide is just amazing. I'm still known more as Mary Ferry's son than I am Ted Ferry, which is a good thing. I look at that as a great thing. So thank you to the mentors and the pillars of the community that we have. Natalie Budke, thank you so much for your performance today. I think all of us should remember that name because I think we'll be seeing her somewhere in the future on TV or maybe on some of those Walkmans or something like that. Wish to thank our partners at Allied Video Productions, Capital Community Media, as well as the Salem Convention Center for always doing a great job for us here at our luncheons. Thank you, Salem Health and the Salem Health Foundation. We thank you for being our sponsors today as well. And thank you, Jim, for serving as a past president. Hagen Hamilton Insurance and our friends there, Solutions, our friends there, Jason John, Chris McLaren, Chad Neal, and TJ Sullivan. Thank you guys, as always, for being our sponsors. At your tables, you will notice another QR code, or a whole list of them. Our membership manager, Jackie Roche, gave you a cheat code. And so please utilize that to take a look at all of the events that are coming up in the next few months with the Salem Chamber. So thank you, Jackie Roche, for the cheat code. Cheating's okay sometimes, right? Next month, on December 8th, is our next Forum of Speaker Series. We are pleased to welcome the economics professor and scholar, Dr. Eric Fruits, to discuss. This is a good one for us as business owners, to discuss the current state of Oregon's economy, the roadblocks, the external factors that are preventing growth. And hopefully he will provide us some common sense solutions that will help our state towards a better trajectory. So again, December 8th, please mark that on your calendars. Shopping locally is very important to us as a Salem Chamber of Commerce. A great way to do that is to shop downtown, and the holiday season is right around the corner with the Downtown Salem Holiday Parade. It'll be done, it's presented by the Salem Main Street Association. Yes, we will probably have some red Jeeps in that parade this year, sponsoring Buddy the Elf, so look forward to that. But the event it takes place the Friday after Thanksgiving, so November 28th at 5:30 is the route. If you have any questions, they have room and space available for more floats, and also volunteers are always needed, so please contact Derek Gilbert and Christy Rudich for that. And of course, Tom Hoffert will be our MC for that event. In January, we have the return of the Safe Agribusiness Banquet presented by KeyBank. Please make sure that you check out the flyer on your table for that one as well. On behalf of the Board of Directors team, speaking about money and taxes, there is a wage tax that is still being proposed by the Chariots. So please, what we're asking is educate yourselves, get involved, talk to Jameson Gideon at the Salem Chamber. If you have any questions at all, please reach out. It's important that we first become educated on what they're looking at to do. We also recognize one of the great awards I think that we do is the Spirit of Salem Award. Thank you so much for Stay Alive veterans for being the recipients of that and helping. It was a great surprise. With today also being the United States Marine Corps 250th anniversary, please remember Veterans Day tomorrow. We encourage you to make sure we express our gratitude for all those that have served so faithfully. And now, the Tim Jennings Flower Bouquet. So I almost feel like I should bring Tim forward. So Craft Custom Construction, Emma Craft is our winner. So congratulations. And I think I got through all 6 pages, Tom. Not bad, huh? So thank you guys all, and we'll look forward to seeing you on December 8th.